EXPRA. Now, yesterday you asked Brussels for more support from the EU. What would you ideally like them to do?
We would really like to see that they learn from the best practices and the failures in the different member states, extract the best practices and put them into legislation so that a lot of countries are, let's say, forced to introduce the European legislation in the right way and not to be late or lazy or having problems by problems by problems.
And I know you singled out one country in particular, but do you think some countries are slightly massaging their recycling rates? I think it was one country had 81% success, which sounded not possible.
Yeah, I think I would not even say that they are really doing it in the wrong way. But if you are not really sure what is the amount of packaging put on the market, then how can you calculate a figure? So this specific country, they just take the data that they have and by chance they come up with 81%. But if you go into the country, you see that this cannot be true. So I think it is a duty of the European Commission to ensure that the data from the 28 member states is comparable. What is the sense to make a target if everyone is free to calculate the target in its own way?
Okay. Well, there was one statistic I think that came out actually from the EU. We talked about recycling in Germany. They said it was 40%, but only 5% was actually going back into plastics. Now, you made a point, and you said you think we've got more than enough park benches made out of recycled material. I think both those figures make some sense. So, isn't there a commercial opportunity somewhere for your members and your associates to actually realize a better return on the recycled material that's going through the system?
I think it is incredibly important to develop the markets for the material. We should not produce recyclates that no one needs. And we need to produce them in an amount that is big enough to provide to industry on a constant level enough material. And this is somehow the challenge at the moment, to produce enough material on one side and to develop new application with industry on the other side.
Who should be actually doing it though? Who should be making the products out of the recyclate?
It's the packaging converters, but at the same time it's the textile producers as well. I'm not a friend to say to produce a new bottle is better than to produce a pullover. How can we say? But some people say this is upcycling, this is downcycling. I think this is quite difficult to understand for the people.
In England we have an expression about a chicken and an egg,
Yeah.
And you mentioned volume, and the reality is the volumes aren't really sufficient yet. But which is holding recycling back? Do you think it's the lack of volume, or is it the lack of investment at the back end?
I think it's all. You cannot say this is the only problem. So we have to tackle several challenges at the same time. But I think this is one of the jobs of a functioning EPR system for packaging, because it is in the hand of obliged industry. You can do long-term investments, long-term thinking. You do not need to make every year some profit like in some of the countries. And that's one of the reasons why we asking the Commission to be brave enough to say, okay, this is the best EPR model and you should endorse it.
Why are they so reluctant to invest time and money?
What is the pressure of today? You have to deliver every quarter a report that shows that you are better than the last quarter. So to do the real big investments, this needs braveness of companies. So.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.